So, okay, I have started the recording. Thank you so much again. And let me start sharing my screen. People are still joining in, but we will get started right on time. So before we go ahead, I welcome each and every one of you to this session. Thank you so much for joining in on this beautiful weekend. This is like the first weekend of the new year, because the first weekend was 1 and 2 days. Day 1 and 2. That's where everyone was busy partying and enjoying. So this is like official first weekend. So thank you so much for joining in, and I welcome all of you to the new hackathon that we have launched, which is RPA Tools Hackathon 2021. In this hackathon, as you can already see the slogan, build end-to-end solutions which will cross the limits of automation and can be used beyond imagination. And that's why this session, to ideate the use cases for hackathon, we have kept, because we want for all of you to think beyond. And only students can do that, because in my entire career what I have seen is the most beautiful ideas for hackathon, or the most insightful ideas for any specific hackathon, it may be RPA hackathon, may it be any Google hackathon, or any hackathon that is going on around the world, the best ideas always comes from students. Because what happens, the people who are already working in the industry, these people already are thinking from a specific thought process, from a specific mind about a specific use case. But only students can think from variety of different aspects to generate ideas. So that's why this session is so much important. This particular hackathon, RPA Tools Hackathon, as you can see in the name itself, this hackathon is organized by RPATools.com, and the main founder of RPATools.com is right now with us, Vivek Goel. So I would just like to introduce Vivek Goel once. He is a country head of Wonderbots, and he is one of the most amazing people I have known. That's why he is called the boss of RPA. And that's where I would like to introduce Vivek and just request him to say hi. Vivek, you there with us?
Hey, hello guys. As I said, I'm driving, so I'll be on and off. But thank you, Nisarg, for giving me this opportunity. And this has been thought well enough about this hackathon. I know you are going to explain each and every point of it. Looking forward to the session, and again, welcome all. And I hope you all participate and win a lot of goodies. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vivek. Okay, so wonderful. With this start, let's get ahead and let's look at what all about, what are the things that we have to do in this hackathon. So first of all, we'll go through the hackathon. But again, before we go into hackathon, let's do a formal introduction. I know most of you might already know me. If you don't know me, then I have a presentation slide which I always show for myself. So let me introduce myself. So my name is Nisarg Kadam. I'm currently working as a senior consultant in Wonderbots. I'm UiPath MVP 2021. And just a little bit information about myself, because I always ask people to introduce themselves. So I like to introduce myself not only from a technical perspective, but also I'm a weekend YouTuber. I'm a bike rider, caught a little race winner. I love writing blogs. I love creating travel vlogs a lot. And, I was a professional dancer. Now, why I say I was, because yeah, in my past, I was a professional dance choreographer. So that's all about me. Okay. And in this hackathon, we have some official, amazing sponsors like UiPath Community, Wonderbots, and for technology support and technological educational part, we have Automation Pathshala. Okay, so with this, let me get started and let me introduce a little bit about this hackathon first of all. But before this, I know that you all are already champs of UiPath or RPA, but still I want to give you a little bit background about that. So when we start thinking from a perspective of RPA, first of all, it is really important for us to know what is the core concept of RPA. And when we think about a use case in any hackathon, when we think about a use case, thinking about the base technology is really important. And in this hackathon, the base technology is RPA, okay, which is UiPath only. So RPA, all of you all of you might already know, RPA is a technology which enables you, a software program to mimic human actions. Now, when we say RPA, when we say robot, the first thing that comes to our mind is a physical robot. But RPA is a software robot or a virtual assistant to your machine or to any machine. which can mimic human actions and which can perform certain interactions with the computer applications and perform certain tasks automatically. And that's why it is automation, which happens automatically. Okay. Just a formal definition from my side. That's it, nothing else. And then why we need RPA so much in our daily lives? Because RPA mimics human actions. RPA can operate on any particular application that you can see on screen. And specifically, thanks to UiPath, because of that, we have so many different products right now, which we are going to go through this in this call also. Structured reading and actioning data, quick to implement, very powerful to scale. That's why industry is growing so fast. No mistakes and without any proper rest. That means a robot can actually literally run 24/7. So that's the main motive why RPA is growing so fast, and that's the main advantage of learning RPA at this stage while you are in a career growth path or you are at a student level, because this industry is going so rapid and you are jumping into this industry right from the beginning, which will help you a lot in the long run. Now with this, we all know what software robots can do. So we are just thinking from a different perspective in this place. Okay. So I just want to clear your thought process first of all, and then let's move on to the thought process of what we can do. Right. So for clarification of the thought process, what software robots can actually do? They can log in into any application, they can move files, folders, they can scrape the data from the web, they can read or write the databases, they can open emails, attachments, write emails, make certain calculations. But UiPath specifically has created such products with the help of which robots can do much more beyond imagination. That's why the tagline includes the word beyond imagination, right? It can go beyond only extracting documents, but also extracting handwritten data, PDFs, emails, include AI ML into your automation pieces, where the mimicking human part is now only not limited, but it goes beyond the mimicking human. It can think like a human. It can help you take decisions for executing a particular robot. So that's where we can say, software robots can do such more things. So before we start idealizing, before we start ideating, before we start thinking from a process of what all use cases we can think, okay, what are the different businesses in which RPA can focus? So because it is really important for us to know what are the different domains, what are the different businesses in which RPA can help. Like for example, a couple of examples I have on screen. As you can see, finance, supply chain, IT, HR, client services, accounting, operations. So these are all the part of the IT chain which is currently going on right now, right? Finance, process to pay, order to cash, report to report. These are the record to report. These are the couple of things which are mandatory, which are going on in each and every organization on the daily basis. Robots are running 24/7 doing all this work, right? And this is all what we have already implemented. So these are the core business of RPA, which we have focused on. But RPA can do much more beyond only these core businesses. And these are only a couple of things. These are like only 5% of automation pieces, what I have shown you on screen. There's a huge scope of RPA out there in the market. And still those areas, are growing. That's where when we say we are participating in a hackathon, we are participating in a ideation of any process, or we are participating in a competition, let's not just look at that competition as a part to win it, or just a small competition where you want to win some prize or gift. Let's look at it from a perspective of what change we can bring to the community. Not only the community of UiPath, but to the whole world's community. What changes can we bring with the help of robots? How can we think out of the box? And how can we think about a specific use case which can help those who doesn't even know in this place robot can be fit? Now, I never thought, the society in which I'm living, I never thought in my last 10 years of history that in my society there can be application which can be installed on like a remote application for each and every person in the in the society, and any visitor you can get the notification on your mobile. I know this application has been launched 3 to 4 years back, but we never thought about it. This can solve a very small problem, but a very large scale operation, right? Where everything, everywhere it can be implemented. So that's just one idea I have given to you. So similarly, like that, we have to think about a use case from a robotic perspective, where RPA can be implemented even in a small place, but its impact could be more, right? Now, I know I have talked a lot. If anyone has any questions, anyone wants to talk about anything, you can in between and ask me the question, because if I keep talking, I'll be talking throughout the whole session. Any questions till this part before I jump on to the hackathon page? Okay, at least let me know all of you are aware about the RPA concept in the chat. I know you guys are not talking, so let's get the answers in the chat. All of you are well aware about RPA. All of you are well aware about UiPath. I can say yes. I can see a lot of yes. Okay, amazing. Okay, now next question. So all of you are relating to what I'm saying right now.
Yes, I am.
Okay. Okay, good. Now, before I move ahead, now let's go and let's have a quick look at, before I jump onto the use cases part, let's have a quick look at the page, the main hackathon page, which we want to participate in. Now, this is just one hackathon, which is happening right in the beginning of this year, right? But there are so many hackathons lined up throughout this year that you guys can participate into. And stay connected with us, and you're going to get so many opportunities. Now, this hackathon will designed specifically for the base of students, for the base of those who are getting started with RPA, for the base of those who are new to RPA and who wish to start their career or boost their career right from the beginning, being part of this hackathon. So that's where RPA Tools always organizes such hackathons since last 3 years. And this 2021 is different, which I can say, because 2021 hackathon is on a much different scale. It's on a bigger scale that we are, launching it. Now this year, as you can already see it on screen, right? There are so many prizes, so many surprises. But what is this hackathon? First of all, so as you have already seen, this is a unique concept hackathon, which is designed for participants who are new to RPA technology. That is something which is different and UiPath product suite, right? Okay. Now, what is the aim of this hackathon? The aim of this hackathon is to provide a platform for entry-level developers to showcase their skills and to kickstart their career, right? So even if you're new to this domain, but you can showcase your skills, how you can think from out of the box. How can you bring something which is new to the market? Nobody even knows what you can bring up, right? And that could become a more important use case to the market. What is the eligibility criteria to participate in this hackathon? So first of all, the joining date, or the dates which were the important dates, right, have been postponed to 21st January and 22nd January for the last date of registration and online test. Now, the last date of solution submission is 6th of February 2022. So we have complete 1 month in our hand, because today is 9th of January. So we have almost 1 month in our hand to submit the solution, right? And before that, what do we want to do? So what is the eligibility criteria? First of all, you might, all of you have to be, at least university graduate or passed out between 2017 to 2021. Or you might be employee already working on a different technology and you're switching to the RPA technology as a new, right? So you could have at least 5 to 6 years of experience, that's fine. But you're switching to RPA domain and you're new to the RPA. That person is also eligible for this hackathon. Currently enrolled in a university program with passing out year of 2022 or 2025 are also eligible. Anyone who is new to RPA, as I've already mentioned, UiPath, and has less than 1 year of experience is eligible. Now, besides this, each and every participant should have completed the RPA Developer Foundation course from UiPath Academy. Now, for those who don't know about this, so there's a website called as academy.uipath.com, which provides a free of cost learning, right? Globally. It's not only for India, it's global. So globally, it provides free of cost learning programs, out of which the most famous and what we are expecting is RPA Developer Foundation. So at least this course has to be completed. Yes. Anyone has any question? Okay, so I'll move on. At least this course has to be completed as part of to be eligible to this hackathon, you can register. That's fine. It's not that you should not register until you complete the course. You can register. But what we are expecting that you should at least complete this course. We are not expecting you to complete both the courses, developer advanced and foundation, but at least the foundation course, right? For to be able to participate in this hackathon. Now you can complete this before the end of hackathon and it's free of cost, as you already know. So you can still participate and start working on this foundation course parallelly. Or if you have already completed, that's amazing. You're already eligible for this. Okay. There is the registration form where you can click and you can start the registration process. And obviously, the most important part for all of us, even for me personally, the benefits. So we have cash rewards a lot up to 2 lakh Indian currency rupees, 200K Indian currency rupees. There is internship opportunity, which is one of the most important thing, job opportunity. So internship opportunity, job opportunity are the most two important things that I am looking at, right? From a perspective of a freshers to the RPA. 10 UiPath certification vouchers, 20 sport awards, 50 brand merchandise, and 50 goodies. So many. I mean, there are 140 plus benefits that you can get even if you participate in this hackathon, right? So it's really important for you, the important information. And the dates, as I've already told you, the hackathon has already started since 19th of December. We are already on 9th of January. So you might want to register now, and 6th of February is the last date of solution submission. And all of us will get to the people who will get selected for the final round will get to present on 12th and 13th of February 2022 will be the judging round, right? And then 25th of February will be the winners announcement. So it's not too far. It's only 1 or 2 months of gap. That's it. And talking about other rules. So now coming back to the question what Leo asked me. Leo, you're there?
Yes, yes, I'm here.
Okay, so coming to the question which Leo just asked earlier, a wonderful question. What are the use cases that we can generate, or what are the use cases that we can work on? Are we going to give you the use cases, or you have to think about the use cases? So that's why this session is arranged, right? First of all, each participant can select any use case which could be helpful for any one of the below categories. Now look at the categories. It's very simple. All of you are from the student or education background. So your category could be education. Now your use case could be anything. You can implement a use case to solve any small problem or a genuine problem that every student face. And that problem has to be a use case of RPA. It's nothing like a use case which is not of piece of RPA, but you're doing it from RPA perspective. That should not be the case. Think from a robotic process automation logic. That's why I introduced you to RPA first. So education industry is the first category. Social media. We all use social media a lot. Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, or blah, blah, blah. A lot of social media applications are there. If I keep counting, I'll just keep counting. So you can help solve a problem. Just simply thought process from like let's say I want to publish a post on LinkedIn. And at the same time, I'm a social media influencer. At the same time, the same post I wanted to publish on my YouTube community page, my Facebook, my WhatsApp, broadcast group, and some other places at the same time. So you can create a robot which can publish, which can take input as let's say description, image, or title, and utilize the same for all the social media channels and publish that post on all the social media channels. It could be via API, it could be via UI automation, right? Amazing use cases. So there are so many different use cases that you can think about social media. I have just given you one thought process. Helping MSME businesses. What is MSME? So MSME are like small businesses, which we can, let me show you the page. So it's like Ministry of Micro and Small Medium Enterprises. Small businesses, small scale, shops, anywhere you can help them to create some out of the box logic. You can also do that. Healthcare. Healthcare is one of the domain where there are so many use cases, because right now we are all going through a crisis. We are all going through a pandemic, right? And there are so many issues which are being generated with regard to the healthcare automation. That's where I forgot to tell you or introduce you myself when I introduce myself. So I'm already a winner 2 times for the global UiPath Hackathon, right, which UiPath organizes every year. So I'm already 2 times winner of this hackathon. In one of the winning hackathon project, we have implemented healthcare automation, right? Now that was a very out of the box use case, what we implemented. So I will also walk you through that use cases, right? Now, again, e-commerce. E-commerce is one of the most important category where you can think a lot about use cases and general use cases where you can generate your own thought process. Now, when I've gone through these couple of categories, it already opens a wide thought process for selecting a use case, because you are already coming from background of college as a student or a fresher. You don't have any limitation of a thought process to think about IT industry or think about any process from only one direction. You have a wide scope in your brain right now. So you can select your use case insightfully. As we have already told you, it's not only single person participation hackathon. You can also participate in groups. You can also participate solo. Why not? So think with along with your team which category you can select, but also while you select the category, look at this. Solution has to be fully functional when you submit it. It has to be end to end and should be built using only UiPath platform. Each participant can only enter one and only one solution. Okay, you don't have a chance to submit 2 to 3 solutions, so you can focus on only one solution. That's what we want you to do. Solution must not be already available on some UiPath marketplace or YouTube video or some pre-built solution, right? But solution has to be at least a little insightful. Now, before I jump on to the next steps, let me show you what are the different use cases that I have already displayed on my YouTube channel. Okay, so let me start this slideshow from the current slide. Look at this. These are the couple of use cases which I've already published on my personal YouTube channel. How to ServiceNow automation. So ServiceNow is a tool which is used by a lot of companies on a very different scale. So I did ServiceNow automation, right? Invoice document extractor using ML, then Slack channel chatbot, Q&A machine learning bot, customer feedback automation, which was the winning solution for my first hackathon, brain stroke prediction, counting number of people in supermarket during COVID situation, so that we can actually count how many number of people are there in a specific supermarket, and we can put up a restriction on how many people can actually enter in that supermarket at one amount of at a same amount of time. So I created that bot and I just published it on YouTube and my LinkedIn just as is. So this is one of the use case. Then restaurant feedback automation. This is one of the use case which you can relate to the MSME businesses, right? So restaurant feedback automation, a German tour guide where I don't know the German language, but I can actually, I have actually created an application which using UiPath apps, which takes input from me in English, converts it into German so that it can talk to the other person right in front of me who is a German person. And whatever he says, it can translate back to me in English using AI Center, which is nothing but UiPath's product, and using UiPath apps to demonstrate it, which is nothing but again UiPath's product, right? Object detection can be used at multiple places, which is already a pre-built solution available on UiPath AI Center. Profit prediction robot using teapot algorithm. Now I'm giving you too many processes at the same time. Let me slow down a bit. So look at this. When I say ServiceNow, it's one of the industrial robot, right? When I say Slack channel chatbot, so it is a chatbot which also can be integrated with multiple languages, right? Where you can also include the language detection or language translation machine learning models. Customer feedback automation, where you can take feedback from customer using handwritten data and you can still convert that into a soft copy and understand the information out of it and only focus on those customers which have given negative feedback. Brain stroke prediction, based on the person's historical information or based on the person's some kind of information like it's his cholesterol level, height, blah 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 blah, couple of parameters, and predict the brain stroke possibilities to this particular person. Now counting number of people, as I've already told you, which is for the latest trending thing which is going on, which is like a pandemic. It would help in that. And again, restaurant feedback automation, the same thing. When you visit any restaurant, these guys take your feedback, right? When you leave. So that feedback, it helps them to grow their business. Learning from the feedback is one of the most important use case for any industry. It's not only for restaurants, it's not only for shopping malls, it's for any industry, even for us. German tour guide, as I've already told you, a language translator. profit prediction using teapot model, identifying sentiments from airline review, which will help them to make sure what to focus on and what not to focus on, right? And diabetes prediction using ML. These are only a couple of use cases which I have, talked about. And if you want to know where these use cases are, so this is my YouTube channel, which I will also post in the chat so that all of you can. Okay, just a curious question for all of you. How many of you are already, have already subscribed my YouTube channel? Just curious, just want to know. Tejaswini, okay. Mukesh, Mukesh has his own channel, which is even more amazing than my channel, where like you can, get a lot of videos from scratch that you want to learn. Okay, I can see a couple of people have already subscribed. Those who have not subscribed, I have given the link in the chat, right? Here. And also you can identify it from the look, Nisarga Kadam. You can just have to enter Nisarga Kadam, that's it. So on my YouTube channel, if you go to the playlist, right, where I have a playlist called as where is it? Okay, AI Fabric tutorials, where there are more than 32 videos which are explaining how you can create a particular use cases right from scratch. As look at this, predicting brain stroke using UiPath AI Center and UiPath apps. So this is a use case which I have built for 18 minutes video, where I have it, totally talked about how you can implement it. Learn machine learning without coding. So there are so many things which I have implemented, like emotion detection using AI enabled talking robot. This is the latest use case which I implemented, which also got promoted by UiPath officially on Twitter and LinkedIn. And then again, how to extract details using machine learning extractor, right? So there are so many use cases that you can look at on my channel. So there is only one way of looking at it. There are even so many sources out of this where you can actually look at and you can find out the use cases, right? Now in today's topic, we have already talked about, what is the definition of RPA and how should you think when you think about a use case for a hackathon. How should you think from which use case perspective that you can select a proper solution, select a proper question answer where you want to implement RPA actually. Now let's pick up a topic, how to present and demonstrate your idea. Now when I say present and demonstrate, I would like to come back to the page of hackathon and look at this particular part, which is nothing but the judging criteria. Okay, now when it comes to demonstration and presentation, if you look at this whole judging criteria, the biggest percentage, which is 30%, is given to presentation. We will evaluate how well you present your solution in the final judging round. So ideation, definitely 10% is given to ideation. On the basis of your idea, we will evaluate your idea. The completion of your solution, is it completed? Is it partially completed? Is it about to get completed? It has a lot of improvements in future. Based on that, we will define the completion percentage. 20% is given to the technology because we want you to use UiPath, yet you can also integrate other APIs or other applications if you want to integrate. So we will also evaluate you based on how effectively you use UiPath existing products to achieve it. So let's say for a problem statement where you could have used UiPath solution, but you have used any other way. So that's what we want to check. How can you use effectively UiPath products? We will jump on back to UiPath products, but let's first of all look at it. And then 30% is given to presentation. Now, what are the important things that we all have to keep in our mind whenever we participate in any hackathon? For some of you, this is your first hackathon. For some of you, you might have already participated in a couple of hackathons while you were in college, while you were in second year, third year, or fourth year. But in each and every one of these hackathons, not only hackathon, I'm talking about even if you go for a Viva or even if you go for any examination, the first thing is always your impression on a person, how you present your solution. Even a small and very simple solution can be presented with a very huge wide scope and huge scope of automation in the future. And that could bring up the spark for that particular idea to win that particular hackathon. And even an amazingly built too many complex solutions used and very heavily logic problem statement cannot win the solution if they have not presented it very well. So presentation also matters a lot. So what are things you should take care of before you submit your solution? So always remember, when you submit your solution, what you have to submit? You have to obviously submit your code, right? In a proper zipped manner, where each and every folder is given a proper naming convention. A folder structure has to be maintained properly. You have to also maintain the documentation of each and every folder, right? Now let me show you if I have any example. Just a second now. Let me show you if I have any examples. The recording by mistake. Let me pause the screen share. Okay. Now look at my screen. Let me know if you can see this folder. Okay. Now this is one of the solution which was submitted to the hackathon, right? Now look at the folder classification, what I have done. I have kept a demo video. So the particular person does not have to get confused, right? What we have built. So that's where we have created a demonstration video along with the presentation. I have also created a folder called as complete workflow, right? Which is healthcare underscore raise, the name of the team, where entire data, documentation, document processing, exception screenshot, the important documents and important folders, everything is in place in this particular folder. Then we have created a folder called as PDD. How many of you knows what is PDD? Can anyone tell me the full form of PDD?
It is something like project design documentation, something like this.
Process design document.
Exactly. Process design document, exactly. Or project
document.
Design documentation, anything that you can call. So PDD basically tells you what is the process that you have designed in this particular hackathon. So it gives an overview abstract of the entire hackathon, which is called as process design document, PDD. Then we also have a document when we submit a solution is called as SDD. I don't expect that document from you. Only PDD is expected, but SDD is also very good to have document, which is called as solution design document, which talks about your solution. And process design document talks about the process, right? So there are two different ways. So as you can see in this folder, I have a PDD document along with me. I can open it and I can show it to you. So this is the document which we created. Look at it. It's a very beautiful document, right? Where we have created this PDD, where we have talked about everything: introduction, purpose, objectives, what are the key contacts, what is the process overview, right? And it's also clickable. What is the process overview? What is the process full name? What does it do? What is the scheduled frequency of this process? What are the process restrictions? As you can see, the bot application should not be used between 9 a.m. to 8 a.m. So we have looked at very minute details and we have created this particular document, right? So let's say you have a team or you're a lone person, you can still work on this document, which will give even more insights and which will also improvise your skills to create such documents. Because in the current live RPA industry, each and every RPA developer is expected to know about PDD and SDD, not only know, but also expected to create such documents when time comes. So this will give you a practice on how to create such documentations, right? How to generate PDD. So I have also a couple of videos on my YouTube channel which talks about how to create a PDD and SDD. So you can also look at that. So this is one of the PDD where you can also see there is a detailed to-be process map, which I have designed what this process actually does, like an algorithm, right? Which we have designed. You can use any tool that you want. And we can also provide you this particular default documentation to generate the PDD. And look at the presentation. Now, presentation is one of the most important aspects. So if you can look at this presentation, okay, in this presentation, we presented each and every small detail, So this was about understanding patient's handwritten details from a form. Like patient will enter all the details like his name, email, age, gender, what are the symptoms that that particular patient has, what is the patient's history, what is the allergy, does that patient have any allergy? And based on this information, we will generate using UiPath, as you can see, bot workflow. So the handwritten data, what was the conventional way? Handwritten health record, human extracts and saves it into Excel. Then doctor examines the patient and provides a prescription for the ailment. And doctor then saves that data to the patient's health record, which is EHR, electronic health record, as a database. And then customer representative will send an email to the patient. Now, how many people required here? 4 people. First is a person who is a human who is extracting this saved information in the Excel or any handwritten form and noting down those details like a receptionist. Then the second person is a doctor who is examining based on your history, your symptoms, and your medical history. The doctor examines whether what kind of a ailment you have. The third person required to this is the electronic person who saves all of your data to the electronic health record. And the fourth person is a customer representative which sends out an email to each and every patient based on the predictions and based on the ailment, right? Now, with the help of robot, we can actually eliminate all these 4 people. Now, why did we thought about this use case? Because in entire globe, when Corona came up, when COVID situation started, in the entire globe, what happened? People panicked. People got really confused and really scared to go and visit doctor, even for small issues or small ailment, like even for cough, cold, people started avoiding doctor. But yet, like in India, you can get prescriptions, you can get ailment right from medical, but in couple of countries in Europe, you can't get medicines unless and until you show authorized doctor signature prescription. Am I correct? Anyone would like to comment on that? Leo, what do you think? Without doctor's prescription, do you guys can get any medicines? No, right? Exactly. So just like that, pandemic created a huge problem, not only for the people who are already suffering from COVID, but for also people who have very small issues, but because they couldn't get the medicines, the situation ended up very worse, right? And that's where we thought about this use case where a robot can actually, we created a virtual place where you can actually submit handwritten document or an Excel related form like Google Forms. We can take your details based on your symptoms, and based on these symptoms, whatever you have given to us, based on these symptoms, using teapot model of machine learning, look at this workflow. So a handwritten patient record can be used, scanned and uploaded to the OneDrive. Then bot will extract those details from handwritten document using document understanding, which is UiPath's framework. And AI Fabric will utilize for language translation, convert it into English. So one model, language detection, will detect that language translation will convert that language to English language. Then the data services, based on using the teapot model, we will predict based on those particular data what is the element based on the symptoms, and we can generate the e-signatured prescription by authorized doctor. And if you're not talking, please be on mute.
Recording అలాగొద్దని వచ్చే recording.
Guys, if you're not talking, please be on mute.
நான் பேசுறது காமிக்காது மியூட் ஆயிட்டு கரெக்டா தான் ஐயோ யாரையும்
Thank you so much. Okay. So yeah, where was I? So I was talking about the use case. Yeah. So then using AI Fabric, the language translation, language prediction, we can understand the language and we can predict the ailment and prescription. And then automatically using email automation, we can send that particular email to the patient and also save the data to the electronic health record. And at the same time, educate people about COVID-19. Now we generated benefits, expected release, what are things we can do in future. So this is one of the simple presentation. As you can see, the presentation is very simple, very straightforward. As you can see, we have put up all the details, such a heavy project, into only 10 slides. How? Introduction, then customer case study, scope, objective of it, then what are the as is process, what does it actually do, what is the to be process, then what are the benefits out of it, and then what is the expected release that we can do in future, how it is scalable robot. Now, as you can see, this was our winning solution. And that's how we have packaged it, like demo video, project. If you guys want to write it down, note it down. So demo video, project, PDD, presentation, and then project files. If you have used any external files, any external integration, then you can also include that in the project folder. So like this, we have packaged the entire project folder, right? So that is how you can also package your entire project and demonstrate it to the your interviewer or your judge in the judging panel round. Now, how to create perfect impression and impact with your innovation. That is our fifth and most important point. So how to create a perfect impression? As I've already told you about the presentation. Presentation has to be really, really good, right? It's not a mandatory thing though, but it's really important for you to work on such skills while you are stepping into such industry. Because the more better you present your solution, the more better you can be a leader or representative in the future. That's how you will be judged. So that's where you have to think about your use case and presentation, how you present it, right? Then when you talk, you have to explain each and every minute details within the given amount of time. Your time slot for your presentation will be very less. It could be around only 10 minutes or 15 minutes for the entire team or a single person. Within those 10 minutes, you should not spend more time on explaining about code or talking about the technicalities of it, but you should talk about how your project is going to help solve a particular problem. Okay, hear this carefully. How this project is going to help other people or help general people solve their basic problem. How can you scale it to multiple level? When I say scaling, a same robot can be used by thousands of people if your robot or if your idea is a scalable idea, right? How can this particular solution bring value not only for the company, not only for you, but also brings value for any of the category that you select, right? And how it actually impacts in the current situation. So these four things, you have to talk about these four things while you are in a judging round. And you also have to, if you are in a team, you have to give equal amount of time to each and every person to present, talk, and express what you guys have done and what each and every contributor has done or his part in the particular project. If you're doing this whole as an individual, we obviously appreciate your uh, idea and appreciate your entire efforts to put up this wonderful project. But how to think and how to talk from that perspective in a final round, that's really, really important, right? Again, how to think out of the box. Now, this is a topic of discussion where actually I want a couple of you to, maybe represent in the chat or talk in the, unmute. I will give you opportunity to unmute yourself. So when I say the point that how to think out of the box, you actually have to go beyond the imagination of the current processes and think how these processes can be executed by a robot. If a person is doing this job daily as a manual process, let's say your college has a library, and in your college library, there is a librarian who maintains the records of each and every book that is checked in and checked out of the library. And that person is getting all this data from this handwritten sheets that he gets daily, and he has to enter those details in the record of the computer. And he has to maintain those records, which books are right now in the library and which books are not in the library. And then, can your robot help this person at least partially? Now, when I say at least partially, the robots are not only attended robots, but robots can also be unattended robots, hybrid robots. Now, what do I mean by hybrid and unattended robots? Okay, so let me show you a quick slide. So what are the different types of robots? A process which cannot be automated at all. I can understand there are a couple of processes where human is actually needed. There is a no robot process. A process where human and robot goes hand in hand is an attended process. Example, HR robot, which works with the onboarding team and provides new employees details, and that robot goes in backend and fills all the details into all the systems that wherever needed. Believe me, I know you guys are not, if you guys are not yet into industry, you might not know about this, but a particular HR has a lot of job to do when a new employee is onboarded. Get his registration done onto a couple of applications, onto a couple of subscriptions, generate his medical ID, generate his this, that, email ID, blah, 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 blah. A lot of work HR has to do. Now for that HR, if we can create a robot which can do all this data, all this part just by entering the details, and all HR has to do is just enter the details. Doesn't it make more sense and gives more time to HR to open up and talk with the person who is hired, right? So let's see. Now this is one thought process. Another, hybrid robot. Now when I talk about hybrid robot, human and bot goes hand in hand in collaboration. At the same time, there's also unattended robot. I can trigger a robot which does not have any dependency on human, and that robot can work on its own. But to trigger that specific robot, I have to be present, right? That particular robot is called as attended robot. And that attended and unattended combination is a hybrid robot, right? Fully unattended robot. This is the fourth point. Now, when I talk about fully unattended robot, the robots which does not have any dependency on human, who knows when it can start execution automatically, who just runs on its own and gives the information to the user back, right? With all the details. That's a robot which is called as completely unattended robot. Okay. So there are these four types of different robots, like no robots at all, attended, hybrid, and fully unattended. Okay. Now we have thought about, and now we have looked at a couple of examples of these robots. Let me show you a quick demo. Okay. So let's go back to my cloud. So let's say cloud.uipath.com. So this is the cloud account that I have. Let me log into my account. Okay. Now I have a very small robot to show you, a very small, which does nothing, but look at it, just to give you idea. Now there are a couple of UiPath, products that you can use, out of which I'm going to tell you a lot of products right now, but let me show you first product, which is my favorite one, UiPath Apps and UiPath AI Center. Now what UiPath Apps does, can anyone tell me one liner about UiPath App? Anyone in chat? What UiPath Apps can do? Anyone? No one? No one knows UiPath Apps, is it? Serves as an API. Okay.
Now, Nisak, sorry to interrupt. This is the perfect case when people should visit the academy more often. And I believe this type of hackathons basically lets people learn the new things and use any of those product suites to build something meaningful. It could be as simple as exploring UiPath app to create a customer-facing, web page for data entry, right?
Exactly.
Now, for me, any use case that you think of, it basically consists of 3 steps: collection, processing, and output. Right now, a collection can be from anywhere, right? It can be Excel file, it can be web page, it can be anything. Processing, what you do with the data, and then finally, what you do with the processed data. That's the output part. So these 3 things, when you think it through, you build a use case. That's all I had to add. Thank you, Nishad.
Thank you so much, Vivek. That makes a lot of sense. And that's why, as Vivek said, we have given you opportunity to think from a different perspective. And as Vivek said, it's very easy. A thought process or a use case could be as easy as just entering data into customer portal by triggering that robot from certain application, right? Now, that could be your use case. It doesn't have to be as top line as what I have shown you. Don't be scared from those use cases. A use
Can I
case
add
can
a couple
be,
of points, if you don't mind?
yes, Vivek, yes, sure.
So let's think of it in this way, right? So I said it contains only 3 steps: input, processing, and output. Now, input, that's where you try to innovate now. You got your bases covered, you know how to take an input. It can be Excel, it can be web page. Now, if I have to complicate or make it a wow factor for taking an input, I would probably download that Excel from somewhere, right? If I want to add some more wow factor, I would build a web page using UiPath app or an input channel using UiPath apps so that people can enter data and my robot can collect data from there. I want to go one step more ahead. Then I could have, a chat bot using UiPath chatbot to, collect user data, whatever they want to enter, have a question answer type of thing from there, right? Based on that data, you send something out, and then the person finally selects, like your age, your sex, your all those things. That becomes my input now. So the basic steps remain same. Then you add wow factor to it to build a meaningful use case. Once you have the input, processing. Now, processing is where the magic happens, right? What do you do with that data? You got the customer data, you got its query, you get whatever you need. Now, how can you add wow factor to the processing? It's all about story building. Essentially, the technical stuff remains the same. The story has to be different. Output, I can send an email. That's easy. Or I can write an Excel file as an output. But wow factor, based on the gender, it would auto classify, it would have a different type of email template, add some wow factor to it, build a story around it. Once you build that story, your use case becomes wow. Otherwise, it's a simple use case. So in my opinion, cover your basics right, input, processing, and output, then build a story, modify your code to adapt to that story. And that's when you present, you will feel the confidence there.
Wow, amazing. So as Vivek just mentioned, creating a particular use case is all about generating a story out of a specific process. That could be a repetitive, that could be a mandatory process. And amazing explanation by Vivek. I can't even articulate it. Okay, so whatever Vivek said, that you have to follow and think from that perspective. Why we are here today? We are not here to talk about the winning of hackathon, talk about how should you participate in the hackathon, what is the link to the hackathon. No, we are here to talk about how to ideate, how to think from a robotics perspective, from a RPA domain perspective. Why I am emphasizing more and more on how to think from a robotic automation perspective is because I know we have not given this education right from the first year of engineering, right from whatever course that you are doing, right from the first day of that learning. We have not given any knowledge about RPA. It's a very new technology to the market, even for the people who are already there in the market, right? So how to think and how to adapt that particular technology, that we have to think about, right? That's why it is really, really important. Now, what I was going to show you is a UiPath app. So UiPath app, as I asked you a question earlier, UiPath app is nothing but a application interface or a front-end interface, a low-code platform where you can actually create an application on top of which you can trigger your robots. As you can see, right, the definition is right here. Apps is a low-code web-based service which enables you to build and deploy automation powered enterprise business applications. This is a very technical language, but yeah, what it basically does is this. Let me show you. So I will run this particular bot from app. Now look at this. This is an application, which is a very basic app which I have created, a web-based app. All it is asking emotion prediction, right? Enter a name. So my name is Nisarg. Enter your feeling. So I lost my car keys. I couldn't go to office. Okay, so that's my main reason, and that's how I feel today. So I clicked on a button. Look at this. This robot was automatically triggered on my machine in backend, and robot has already executed, and it is displaying me a message. Hey Nisarg, I can see that you are feeling sadness today. Isn't it amazing? What I did is I just gave two inputs, my name and what I feel, and on a click of a single button, I got from robot what I'm feeling today. Now that feeling, what I'm feeling today, is nothing but a prediction done by certain robot in backend. Now let me show you. Now, okay, before I show you, what do you think? How many number of lines I would have taken to build this particular bot?
Or let me rephrase. Can someone unmute and tell me, forget about UiPath, forget about technicality. Just think, how did this happen? You give a couple of lines, it gives you one line. I'll just relate it to, again, the 3 steps which I said. Your input becomes those 2 lines that you put, your name and the text that you put in. Now, processing, what should have happened? Nisarg is not going to write an ML model, right? There are pre-built models available. If you know the Azure Cognitive Services API or Amazon API or Google API, any API. Now, what's an API? You just pass an input to it, you get an output. Very simple. you give input, it processes information, gives you an output. Now, on the back end, I have not seen the code, but I can think, when you give those two output, Nisarg might have passed on the text to that API to basically suggest emotion. And after it got the emotion as an output, Nisarg might have probably, used that name to build that sentence. It seems, Nisarg, you are feeling so and so emotion. Now that becomes the wow factor of that output. Instead of saying, simply whatever the API returned, let's say, it says happy or sad or something. Instead of simply displaying happy or sad, Nisarg added one more layer to add it in a particular sentence and display that sentence with a personalized touch. That's the wow factor which I'm talking about.
Exactly. So as Vivek said, it's just a string manipulation. What I have done at the end is just a string manipulation, which I took your name, I took the ML prediction done by the ML robot, ML service, and combining these two keywords with a single line, I just added a string manipulation. So anyone would just want to, predict how many number of lines of code would I have to write here, or how many number of activities I would have used to build this. Any guess? You can unmute, you can put it in chat. Any guesses? Ritvik says three. Okay. One optimistic person. Okay. 100. 2. Okay. Let me see if I have that robot open in front of me. Yes.
Can
yes,
I give
Vivek?
my guess as well? So my guess
Yes.
would be, if I take out the UI, right, that would have been built using UiPath apps, if I'm right.
Correct.
Apart from that, probably one line to invoke the API and one line for string manipulation, and that's been displayed. So 3 lines. I also believe it should be not more than 3 lines apart from the input.
Okay. So let me show you. So actually, how many number of lines of code I took to do this is only 4 activities. Okay. But 3 was the correct guess, because this is just a assign, which I could have involved in this one also. So only 3 things. One is the ML service, which is giving me the JSON response, what is happening here. The input is feeling, obviously, that you have entered. Another one is to deserialize that JSON, which we have got from ML skill, right? And the third activity is to generate that particular sentence. As you can see here, this is a very basic single string manipulation where, hey, name, I can see that this particular feeling today, right? Now this emotion, I could have also deserialized right here. So it could have made it 3 activities only. Now look at this, only using this 3 to 4 activities, I have built such an application which have given you the emotion detection. And this is such a super cool use case, which if you have thought about it like 4 to 5 years back, you would have taken almost, believe me, 100 to 150 lines of code in Python. What I'm saying, in Python, at least, along with external API. And if you want to also generate this ML model, then at least 10 to 15 project files along with 100 to 200 lines of codes, right? So that's what it took us in UiPath, only 3 activities. Isn't it awesome? Mukesh has also guessed 3. Dipanshu has a question. Do we have to build UiPath, using UiPath Studio? Yes, Dipanshu. Now, this is what you have seen, right? This is a UiPath Studio. All of you might have already seen this. In UiPath Studio, you can build this use case and you can use UiPath AI Center. Now, before I move ahead and I talk about it more, I just want to walk all of you through UiPath product suite. So just give me just 1 second, uipath.com. Okay. Let's go to www.uipath.com. On this official website, I have directly taken it to the official website. I have not presented this because I want to show you where you can find this information, which is very handy. Now, on the right on the home page, if you can keep on scrolling here, you can find the total, all the names of each and every single product. That's the importance of all these products. As you can see, it is classified into 6 different modules: overview, discover, build, manage, run, engage, right? Now, what is overview? Overview is nothing but the products like UiPath Automation Cloud, Automation Suite, delivery options, and UiPath Platform. This is not of any use for us as of now. This is on the enterprise level. Discover, Automation Hub, Task Capture, Process Mining, Task Mining. These are all the products which you can utilize to discover what can be automated. Now look at this, how these particular products are classified into multiple classifications or categories. Discover, the beginning of the process where people have to identify the use case, what can be automated. Yeah, it might sound very funny for you, but it's actually a truth of the market right now. People or companies which are out there still don't know what are the use cases that they can automate in their company. It is a fact. And it is still, there are still so many use cases in the organization which they don't even know can be automated and can generate a huge amount of revenue for them by reducing the manpower, by reducing the efforts, by reducing the time, and by improvising the solution and by improvising the time scale for doing that particular process, right? There are still so many processes out there in the IT industry which people have not identified, and that can be done with the products like Automation Hub, Task Capture, Process Mining, and Task Mining, which also runs on AI in background, okay, which is a cool factor about it. Build, where you actually build the automations like UiPath Studio, most important product, UiPath Studio X, where you can be a citizen developer. Document understanding as a complete framework, which is one of the most amazing framework I have used in entire RPA domain. Automation ops, right? Integration services. There are so many integration services. I don't know if I have that handy right now. Yeah, integration services here. So many applications with which UiPath can literally integrate, like, Act 3065, Dropbox, Box, Fresh Services, Google Drive, Google Sheets, Microsoft Office, and so many. Just keep on counting these. So these are so many integration services, right? Then marketplace. Then in manage, you can also, manage your automations, what you have built. Now look at the phase. You discovered it first, you built it, and then you are trying to manage it using orchestrator, how it should run, where it should run, on which robot it should run, how can it run on multiple robots. AI center, where you can select the machine learning models. Test manager, where you can actually generate the test cases. Data services, where you can actually store the data. Insights, where you can generate the insights based on the results and the reports that you have executed. Then we come to the run phase, how to run it, what are the different types of robots. Then finally, when you are done with the discovering, building, managing, running part, then you decide on how you can engage user, or how you can engage with these robots, like UiPath apps, which I have just shown you, UiPath assistant, which is the desktop assistance which everyone gets, right? So this is the desktop assistant from where I can run the robot. UiPath action center, where you can actually complete an action, particular action, and then UiPath chatbots. So there are so many products right here, which makes it a complete end-to-end automation platform, right? A fully automated enterprise. That's what UiPath talked about in 2021. I can't even imagine what UiPath can become in 2023. So there are so many things which are coming up, so many latest innovations which are going on and will be soon added in the product suite. But the only containing part, you can generate high number of use cases by utilizing these products, right? So now that we have seen how many number of projects and products that are there in UiPath product suite, so, we can be rest assured that you don't have to use any external technology to do something. Now, when you think about a use case, everything you have handy. And also, if you want to use enterprise automation cloud, you can register from your college ID. That will allow you to enable enterprise registration also. I mean, enterprise trial account also. That trial account will be available for you for the 60 days, where you can opt in for AI, document understanding, OCRs, and a lot of more things which comes with the enterprise license. And for that, you don't even need to have an official enterprise email ID. You can also do that from your college email ID. That's the level of community UiPath has, and that's the level of knowledge which is free of cost available along with UiPath. And that's why we want you to leverage that part, leverage this knowledge, and let's generate some thoughtful, meaningful, insightful ideas to generate, even to simplify the work, to simplify the solutions and problems that general people are facing. So I have talked a lot now, and I want now for all of you to talk, come forward and tell me the ideas and what you have thought, throughout this session, and how was this session, and if any questions, if you have. But before I jump on and before I let you, all unmute and talk about it, let me just walk you through a couple of more part. So as I've told you, you have to complete that UiPath Academy, which is most important, star, 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 asterisk, important case, which you have to complete first. Now, we welcome you all to UiPath community. Me being UiPath MVP, it's my responsibility for each and every one of you to, it's my responsibility to welcome you, each and every one of you, to the UiPath community. We have Automation Cloud, which is a free of cost available solution. You can download it, as I have already shown you, right, from the official website. You can leverage Academy for free of cost. You can leverage Forum, where thousands of people are active, and you can get answers to your questions very easily on the forum.uipath.com. Like now, what you have joined the UiPath community event, we have community.uipath.com link, which through which you have joined this link, right? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? This one. So this link, community.uipath.com, just like this. If you go to the home page, you have so many places, so many events which are upcoming events, and you can participate in any event that you want for free of cost. Nothing is chargeable here, right? It's available for free for all. It's open for all. You can participate anytime that you want. And blogs and tutorials are available for free of cost. And some of you are already student champions. You can also participate and get an opportunity to become a UiPath student champion, or moving along in your career to become a UiPath MVP, like me and like Mukesh, who is in the call right now. Okay. So there are several opportunities. And along with that, I also want to show you one more thing, which is really interesting. So if you go on forum.uipath.com, here, I don't know if you guys have registered to this or not, but on forum.uipath.com, there's a page called as Learn. On this particular section, Learn, there's a link for UiPath use case repository, which is one of most amazing link where you can actually get ready-made use cases. Now that's a small trick which I've already told you. Don't let anybody know because this is an amazing trick where you can actually get a lot of use cases which people have already published and talked about. And a couple of these use cases are already hackathon winning use cases. Okay. So as you can see, notice service project in UiPath, mail room automation with NLP classification, ETL process mining. And you can actually classify these based on a couple of factors like, what kind of a category is this? What kind of a repository is this? What kind of a tool it is used, right? And so many things that you can see here. And all are these domains which you can think about. Like a couple of these domains are already part of our, UiPath hackathon. So there are so many use cases, as you can see. Keep on scrolling, and there are n number of use cases which people have submitted. Out of which couple of use cases I have also generated. As you can see, the first one is brainstroke prediction app, Nisarg Kadam. So there are so many use cases which are here right now, which you can go through, and you can also generate idea from this particular use case repository. With this, now we are open for questions. If you guys have any, I have talked a lot. I know I talk a lot, so I will stop my sharing. I will give permission for all of you to unmute and shoot the questions if you have.
I see there's a question from Leo. Do you think RPA could become a commodity such as Excel is right now? For example, that will be used by default in every company team system. Nisarg, you want to take that or should I take it?
Yeah, I mean, I'll just take a small part of it and then maybe you can take it. So already, just to let you know, Leo, couple of companies are already using this attended robots to do small tasks when we log into the system immediately, like reporting a timesheet, logging into the login mechanism, or checking news immediately as soon as you log in. So there are a lot of things which you can do very quickly on immediate basis, which can be automated, and are reusable components which you can install on your UiPath assistant. That is already being done on the project level everywhere. But I think Vivek can explain it more better than me.
No, fair. I'll take that. So have you heard of this concept? You might have heard robot for every employee, right? Now, robots are nothing but it's just a way to simplify your job, what you're doing on a daily basis. Like I've seen, I should not be talking about that in this platform, but let me just go ahead anyways. So, Microsoft also launched their own product, which is coming with Windows 10. UiPath is also, making it more and more robust and more easily accessible, the product suite, so that everyone can use it. The aim of RPA was to remove the mundane tasks from people's job, right? So if I think of myself today, when I log in, uh, if a new person onboards, right, as a head of business for a company, I have to send them I have to send them some introduction emails. I have to, schedule a meeting with them, and I have to probably guide them through the tools and technologies available. Now, these three tasks I have to do for every single employee who joins in my organization. What I have done now, I have created a simple UiPath robot who does that for me. It basically sends out the first welcome email to the new joinee. Then it sends out a link with all the tools that we have to the new joinee, and finally it finds a slot on my calendar on which I am available, and which the person is also available in the next 3 days, and schedules a meeting with that person to have a face-to-face introduction. Right now, these are some simple examples which I'm talking about. I have done a lot of automations, and literally, like, I'm saving 3 hours of my time every day, right? From saving my time, basically. It is also on a more complex note, right? I take notes whenever there is a meeting. I've scheduled a small automation which converts those notes and saves it in an organized manner in Notepad or in OneNote, right? As simple as that. So it's up to you to basically think how it can be a commodity. But if you ask me personally, I see it by 2025, it will be a commodity for everyone. That's what I can clearly see. Now, what other changes it has brought in me as a person right now? When in November 4th, I become a father for the second time, right? So a newborn, a girl child was born. I went to the hospital for insurance claims. And the procedure which they were using, I was like, what the heck are you doing, man? Give me this opportunity, I can automate it, right? So, you have to stand in a queue, they will give you a paper form, you fill that paper form, and then they enter that data into the system. Why are you having that middle layer? Why don't you give me a web page wherein I can fill in everything, right? Now, these small things, when you combine, it becomes a use case for me. And then when I talk to a hospital or a healthcare provider, I pitch them this idea. This is the robotics which you can do. This is the automation which you can do, which can save the cost of, it can improve the customer satisfaction. It can improve the waiting time. And during COVID, you don't want people to be stacking up in a queue in front of your registration counter. Right now, these are the use cases. Where does that come from? It simply comes from the people you interact on a daily basis. Also, I can tell you, my society which I stay in, it's a 1,500 plus flat society. Now, every month, the person who does finances for the society, he downloads all the different statements from the banks of the society. Then he creates a particular balance sheet. Then he sends to owners something different. The expenditure sheet is sent to the tenants differently. Why can't I automate it? It could be as simple as that. Just download something, create the report, and send it out. These are the use cases. Now, how you add, again, input, processing, and output. You add flavor to it, you think it through, it becomes a use case. Does that answer your question, Leo?
Leo. Okay, so Leo says, yes, I agree with that, maybe a bit more, but I can be bet that for 2027, 30 will be the fact. That's why I am dedicated to this, more to the social purpose and technology purpose. Thank you so much, Leo. A really nice thought process, though, a really insightful question, actually, in a long time. And thank you so much for Vivek. Thank you so much, Vivek, for answering this very beautifully. Any more questions? Any more questions, guys?
You can speak up. Why are you so scared? It's a student chapter. Students are always enthusiastic, right?
Yeah, that's what. I don't want to be the teacher who picks up the names, that would be too rude. That would be too rude for to do in the online session. I won't do that. Don't leave the meeting. Okay, anyone? Just, I mean, say anything that you. So, how was the session? And just tell me that what I've talked in like last 1.5 hour. Does it actually make sense? Does it help you to increase the scope of the knowledge that you have, to think from a different perspective, to clarify what you have been thinking about RPA till the time, and now what your thought process is totally different? Does it actually help you? Any feedback?
Okay, we have another question, Mr. Probably for okay. Couple of
With
questions.
the new
First one is,
trend? Yeah.
with the new trend of open source RPA vendors, how does UiPath retains its stand as a leading vendor? Now, Mr. Kanu, I would say this question, I'm not the right person to answer. UiPath should be answering that. But Nisag, if you want to take it, and you have another question for you, Nisag, how did you become UiPath MVP?
Oh, okay. So to answer this question, how did I become UiPath MVP? I would like to answer this question with very short note, saying that please watch a video. So I will share a link of my video where I have mentioned a journey to become UiPath MVP. But what I will take from your question is what it takes to become an MVP. Now, what it takes to become a MVP is that dedication. First of all, dedication to talk, to share. Now, what I have been.
Erection troubles ruining your love life? Get your manhood up with our FTA
Who is
approved
this?
safe and effective solution for erectile dysfunction.
Hi, welcome.
What is
Who
that?
is this? Hi, yeah, that's what I was looking at. Who is this? Okay. Guys, please mute.
Okay,
Okay,
I
no
will take
problem.
the other question wherein the person asks, with rise of open source RPA vendors, and will it reduce the demand of UiPath developers? Okay, so everything, there is Microsoft, there is Google, there is Azure, there is Amazon. Everyone has their own, benefits. There are some open source, we are using SVN, Git, and all for source code management as
Exactly.
well as people are using OneDrive. So it all depends, open source, yeah, it could affect something, but I honestly do not think they could replace someone like UiPath or any other major vendors. Reason being, there is a difference between open source and free. Open source means you get the chassis of the car for probably free or probably for a simple price. But then the modifications, the customization which you don't want to do that. If you want to invest in creating a RPA tool for your own organization, definitely go ahead. But it will be a costly affair to customize everything. Will it reduce the demand of UiPath developer? No, because I still see VBA developers being hired, right? I still see Java developers being hired. Uh, if you tell me honestly, will it, I've seen some developers, who have success have gotten to their head. If that will be reduced, yes, it will, but it's going to stabilize. But again, it's a growth path. There will be no shortage of demand for UiPath or RPA developers in general. Demand will still be there as long as you are ready to learn new things, as long as you are ready to invest your time and get more insights into that.
This is what you're hearing from a person who is already having experience of more than 6+ years in RPA. Okay. So if Vivek is saying this, this is actually very, very insightful, because Vivek has already spent 6 years in this domain, and he is still one of the
My eighth
most
year now.
knowledgeable person. Yes, 8 more.
Into my eighth
Oh,
year now.
wow, amazing. So sorry, so wrong numbers. 8 years and more in RPA domain, and he's still one of the most knowledgeable person I know in my entire career. So it's not that RPA will get stabilized at some point, will be stagnant like some technology, like where people will get stagnation, developers will be stagnated. Definitely not, because the scope has gone beyond. Along with addition of each and every product, the scope keeps on increasing, and that's why, which also answers your question, why UiPath always is leading the market. Still there are open source tools in the market, because it's not about you keep your tool as open source. It's not about you sell your tool. It's about how you innovate and how many doors you open with each and every small thing. Even if you take UiPath, a single activity, if you drag it and if you right click on that activity, you will see the help section. For each and every single activity, UiPath has given documentation of what is the input and what is the output and how to use this activity. The detailing of UiPaths, each and every small thing makes it the top leading tool in the market right now. That's why UiPath is leading market. And the answer to the question of Pratyusha, how to become UiPath MVP definitely takes a huge, tapasya. You can say it takes a lot of efforts for you to, make sure that you keep helping the community. Like if you have knowledge, or if you know that you know something which is really out of the box, or which will also help others to improvise their particular way of doing things, you can come ahead and share those knowledge with others. And the moment you share the knowledge, right, you become a contributor. It could be any way. You could do it via YouTube, you could do it via any blogs, portfolio, anywhere that you want to publish. It's just about sharing the knowledge. Now you keep sharing your knowledge. The first step or the milestone for you should become to become UiPath student ambassador if you are a student. And if you are already in IT industry, target at least 1 or 2 years, learn dedicatedly, and grow your knowledge about this particular product. Not only about the product, but about the entire domain, I would say. Learn all the tools that are there in the market, but then keep on sharing the knowledge and share it in such a way that people actually get benefited from it. Like we have one of the MVP here in call. I would just like to ask the same question to Mukesh if he is still on the call. Mukesh.
Yeah. Hi, Nishat. Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah.
Okay,
Mukesh,
so
can you answer this question? So what it takes to become MVP?
so the primary thing, as Nisarg has already told, is the contribution. So whatever you know, you should be contributing. It can be in the form of blogs, it can be in the form of videos, it can be help in the answering the queries in the forum. But the end is your contribution towards the community. It's
Exactly. And if you can just go ahead and look at Mukesh's channel. Mukesh, can you please put the channel name in the chat? If you look at Mukesh's channel, he has literally thought about even small pieces of automation which can help a lot of students or beginners to think from a perspective of what can be automated and what cannot be automated, right? So Mukesh has done a lot, going beyond the way, right, beyond the imagination of what a contributor can think about. So that's what Mukesh has been doing with the name of Tutorials by Mukesh Kala. So I would want
thank you,
you, all
Nisarg,
of you,
for
to
that.
go to
Thank
the.
you.
Thank you, Mukesh. Okay, any more questions, guys, about hackathon? Did I miss anything? Do you want to know anything? Do you want to know, any details or anything before you get started? How many of you have already started preparing solution or writing code or at least thinking? How many of you have at least started building solution? I mean, you have finalized your idea and started the solution. I'm not asking you to share your idea. Anyone? Hmm. Won't it reduce demand? Where is it? Anyone? No, nobody has replied in chat. So Vivek and me, we both have put up our LinkedIn links in the chat. You guys can connect with us on LinkedIn. You can also subscribe my YouTube channel if you want to know more about what are the upcoming videos that I'm going to put on. This year is going to be even more crazy because I'm also going to launch one more event. So stay connected with us. It seems from the low response that we don't have any questions. So you guys, have understood the core reason behind this call. I hope so. Thank you so much for joining on the weekend again, and amazing response. And let's see what we can do and what all we can implement, and let's make this hackathon a successful hackathon. Also, if you are putting any links or if you're sharing anything on social media, don't forget to include the following tags that I'm sharing, right? So I'm sharing a couple of tags with you. Uh, Vivek, do we also have to share the image if we have that image handy?
Why not?
Okay. Okay, so I have given you a couple of one second. Where is it? I have given you a couple of hashtags in the chat, as you can see, and I will also share one image with you. One second. I don't have this image in this laptop. Vivek, can you share this image?
I'm unable to upload on this. I'm from a mobile.
Oh, you're from mobile. One second. Let me get this image. I think I have it here. I'll have to download it. I uploaded it on a drive. This laptop is a different laptop.
Meanwhile, Leo, what do you do? Can I ask you this, if you don't mind answering?
Sorry. You talking to me?
Yeah. I just wanted to know more about you, Leo.
Oh, yeah, nice. I am an electronic engineer, but now I'm working for a Polish company here in Madrid. But I am a account manager, not anything related to RPA. But well, I am automating part of my job with RPA. So I have our UiPath in my job laptop, my work laptop, and I have been automating some tasks like filling my visit planner. For example, this is the main time saving RPA application that I am using right now, because I programmed a robot for filling all my I organize my job, my work in OneNote, Microsoft OneNote. So I integrate the SAP, right? SAP SIP system from the company with the OneNote, and then I fill the whole visit planner for my next customer visits and projects and etc.
No, that's great. That's great. Probably if you could send me a request on LinkedIn, I would like to connect more with you to know
Oh,
something
nice.
more.
Well, I followed you in LinkedIn like 20 minutes ago, but only followed. I will send you a connection request. Thank you, Vivek. And yes, we could have a talk about this.
Thank you.
For me, that will be great, really.
Yeah, sure. Anyone else? Someone who wants to share the story. It's more about socializing as well, this type of calls, right? The
Exactly.
more we connect, the more we grow. I see some people from BSc CS, Abhirami and Ishwarya. Are you guys open to speak? I see Aarti, Meena, a lot of people from BSc CS.
Guys, speak up. You don't get opportunity where you get to talk with Vivek every day. So I would leverage that opportunity. Mukesh, I have sent you this image on LinkedIn. Can you share the image in chat if you are using Zoom application?
Yes, I can share that. I have just shared one image. I'll just look what you have just shared me. Okay, so this is a different one. Okay, let me just share it. Yeah.
Because I'm using Zoom browser because of some unfortunate application crash issues. So I'm not able to share the link image here. I will also stop the recording.